So in this case, we'll do the apple pie project. Your project is to write a game called Apple Pie. It's a simple word guessing game. Each player has a limited number of turns to guess the letter in a word. Each incorrect guess results in an apple falling off the tree. The player wins by guessing the word correctly before all the apples are gone. As a new programmer, you may find this large project a bit intimidating. Remember, building a working app happens one step at a time. If you get stuck on a particular step, go back and review the lesson. You can do it. Okay, here we go. First thing you want to do is when we start the project is make sure that you are using the iPad. So let me move this over here. Let me minimize the Firefox here. Let me close this. Make sure your art is here and you know where your art is, right there. I have my art. Next, I'm going to start Xcode. To start Xcode, you click on Xcode. It's going to ask us to start a new project right here. So we're going to go with new project. I'm going to call it a single view app. Right here, single view app. Okay. Next, and we're going to call it Apple Pie 2020. How about we call it Apple Pie 2020? Again, if you have logged in, your team should be here. If you don't have a team, it would probably say student in there or something because it says student there. Test. Again, we're using Swift instead of Objective-C as the programming. And if you say next, it's going to ask us where you want to save it. You can make a new folder on the desktop if you want and save it there. Just remember, make sure you know where it's at. The first thing to do is what they're talking about in the book is to make sure you come down here where it says devices here, in this first window under general, where it says devices right here. We're going to choose the iPad. And of course your orientation would be portrait, upside down, landscape, landscape right. So again, we're doing iPad. Device. iPad. Anybody see that? Open the main storyboard and use the View As button to change the device orientation to iPad in landscape mode. Since you'll be using auto layout to build the interface that will work in a portrait mode as well, look back at the image of the finished app using the interface builder tools that you've learned so far. How might you construct this interface? There's an image at the top followed by a grid of buttons and then 2 rows of labels containing text. Perhaps the simplest way to build this interface is by using vertical stack view. Just find a vertical stack view in the object library and drag it onto the canvas. Okay, so once you're done with choosing iPad here under General, we're going to go to the main storyboard. In the main storyboard right now it looks like an iPhone. The reason why it looks like an iPhone is because down here at the very bottom in your view, let me move this up a little bit, down here at the very bottom it still says iPhone 8 here. So what you want to do is you want to click on that and you're going to change the device here to the iPad. Did they say which iPad to choose? 10? And then the orientation to landscape. Let's do 10. So you should have an interface that looks like an iPad now, like that. Make sure you have an iPad again at the very bottom down there. You have an iPad. iPad 10. I use iPad 10. iPad 10. Got iPad 10. You can make your window bigger. Okay, so now that we have that, again, mostly what they want to do is you're going to use a vertical stack to build your interface. So at the very top up here where it has the library up here, we're going to type in vertical stack view, and you're going to drag that on. Drag it to the edge. Well, I guess it's going to be stuck in there. So find the vertical stack view in the object library and drag it onto the iPad canvas. As you learned in earlier lessons, you can determine the position, width, and height of a stack view by adding constraints between the stack and its super view. Where does the stack start and where does it end? The image view is near the top and the last label goes along the bottom of the screen. The grid of the button begins near the left edge and ends near the right edge. Therefore, the stack view can be constrained to cover the entire screen. Select the stack view, use the Add New Constraints tool, and add 4 constraints. Set all fields at the top of the popover to 0. The red indicators will illuminate to show the edges are being constrained. When you're done, click 4 constraints. So again, in here, you're going to drag it so it's as big as the thing. There we go. We got one big vertical stack. Of course, it's inside the safe view, therefore it doesn't go up where the time is or the battery is. And still not quite. It wants to jump. Whatever. When you're done kind of getting it close to where it should be, I don't know why it doesn't go all the way to the edge here. It doesn't like the margin, I think. There we go. Again, go to the constraints where you add the constraints down here. And you're going to say 0, 0, 0, 0. So all zeros all the way around for your vertical stack view. And then hit Add 4 Constraints. So you have one big vertical stack all constrained to the iPad. Again, right there, vertical stack view. Let me see if there's anything else under. Was there anything else under here? No? Okay. And there you go, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I didn't see if it was constrained to margin. If you add the constraints and the yellow warning lines appear around the stack view, press the Update Frame button so the stack view frame sizes to match the constraints or rules you have applied. Well, I didn't have any yellow, so that's okay. Now you're ready to add views and controls to the stack. Search the object library for an image view and drag one of the stack views. Since it's only item in the stack, it will take up the entire space of the stack. Change the content mode of the image view to fit aspects in Attributes Inspector. This will ensure the width and height of the image is not distorted by the proportions of the image view. Add the apple tree images from the student folder to your assets folder. Okay, so again, you're going to add a image view. It's going to take up the whole screen. That's okay. We're going to end up shrinking it down. The other thing to do is make sure it says aspect fit. Okay, so here we go. In the view right here, we're going to come up here to the object library right here. We're going to type in image for image view. You're going to take that image view and you're going to drag it inside here. Now it's going to expand to the whole thing. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Boom. It expands to the whole thing. It's okay. Then if you bring up your attributes over here, again, if you don't see attributes, you might have to click on this little part here to open it up. In the attributes, remember the attributes is the one that points down. It's this one right here. We're going to go to where it says content mode and we're going to change to fill aspect fit. I think you said it was. Was it aspect fit? Yes, aspect fit. Mode aspect fit. Right here, aspect fit. Again, if you don't see this sidebar over here, it's this arrow at the very top up here. And it says aspect fit in the attributes right here. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to bring in the images. The easiest way to bring in the images that I found is to drag. How you drag is you got to kind of move the windows around. I told you where to download the images from Canvas, so you should have them on your computer already if you're using the same images as I am. If you come over here to the edge over here where it says assets, assets right here, assets, assets in the edge here, you can go to your desktop, grab your Apple Pie images. There should be 8 of them, PDFs. And you can click on them and drag them right into this window right here. Again, into the assets window right here. So again, grab all these and drag them in here. And now you should have the Apple Pies inside there. and you go back to the main storyboard. I'll pause for a minute and come and help you. Now that we have our art in, you're going to choose one of the art pieces to be there, and if you look, you'll notice they have one with no apples on it. No apples on it. That would be the first one. So once they've been added, you go back to the image view in the storyboard and update the image property. You use one of the tree images, even though you'll be updating the image views, image and code. This can help you visualize your interface from the storyboard. So you can go in here again. You have your image view. Again, in the attributes right here where it's pointing down, where it says image right here, you can go in the pull down menu right there and you can choose one. Right now, if you just choose the 0, the first one is fine. Again, you're going to be updating that in code view anyways. So again, in the attributes right here, and make sure it says aspect fit right there. Next, I'm going to hit next. The button grid is a bit more complex. Like a checkerboard, the buttons are arranged in a set of rows and columns. You can imagine each row as a horizontal stack view, and you can contain these rows in a vertical stack view. It's 5 horizontal stack views within 1 vertical stack view. Use the object library to add a vertical stack view below the image view. You can reorder the items within the stack by dragging them around in the document window. Give the newly added stack view a height of 220. Okay, so again, you're going to add another vertical stack view below the image view. So again, we're going to add another one. So the easiest way that I find to do that is not to drag onto the document, but to drag right into the view controller, this area over here. So you can actually add things in this area over here, and you want it to be below the tree right here. Okay, because we're going to squeeze things underneath the tree here. So let me close this so you can see. So again, we want to squeeze some stuff that's going to be underneath this tree here. So we're going to add another vertical stack view, and we want it to be under the tree here. It's hard to take it from here and put it in there. So the easiest way that I found is if you go, let's type in vertical again. We're going to put another vertical stack view, but instead of dragging from here onto the screen, we're actually going to drag from here into here. And notice how if I drag right below the tree over here in kind of the layer window, it turns green and you see the green plus. So again, the vertical stack goes right here under the tree. And then we're going to give it a height of 220. To give it a height of 220, we're going to actually go to the constraints here, and so you're going to give it a added stack view a height of 220. So again, inside here in the attributes there should be a height option right here, height, and we're going to type in 220 for height and say add 1 constraint. Notice how the tree will then shrink down and we now have space for our game pieces. I'll pause and come and help you for a moment. Given the height. Each of the horizontal stack views or rows that you'll add will be equal in size. Select the newly added vertical stack view, then open the attributes inspector and change the distribution property to fill equally. Okay, so you were going to select the new vertical stack. We're going to go to the attributes, and where it says fill distribution, right here, distribution right here, we're going to say fill equally. Fill equally. Now add a horizontal stack view within the vertical stack. Each of the buttons are equal in size, so select the horizontal stack view and open the attributes inspector and change the distribution property to fill equally. Now add a horizontal stack view within the vertical stack view. Each of the buttons or columns are equal in size. Okay, so again, we're going to add a horizontal view now to this vertical one. Remember to drag over here is probably easier than dragging down here. So if you go over here to your thing, we're going to type in horizontal stack view, and again drag directly from here over to here. Notice how it's underneath the stack view there. Okay, under. I don't know why. Let me try that again. Okay, stack view. Okay, that's fine. Drag horizontal right in there. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so drag it in there, and then when you get to the, what do they want? They want the attributes inspector distribution to fill equally. So again, distribution fill equally for that. Fill equally. So both of them, this one should say fill equally, and this one should say fill equally as well. So notice how I dragged it underneath here, right in there. It should be under the triangle. Under the triangle. So it's inside of this stack view here. Next, if you go to the next page, they show you where it's at. Notice how it's inside there, just like I said. In an interface, there are 5 buttons per row, except for the last row, which has 6. Use the object library to add a button to the horizontal stack view. Now select the button and copy it to your clipboard. Now paste a new copy of the button into the stack view, Command V, and repeat this step until the stack view contains 5 buttons. Use the attribute inspector to update the text of each button to a single capital letter. Okay, so here we go. Again, these are buttons. Buttons. You need buttons, buttons, buttons. So if you come over here, we're going to go to button. And you're going to drag, again, drag inside here might be easier. So drag over here. When you're done dragging it, you're going to copy it and then paste. Paste, paste, paste. Next, you're going to change each one to a letter. The easiest way to change it to a letter is not to try and change it here or change it on the screen. The easiest place to change the button is over here in the attributes. Notice it says button right here towards the top. If you select that, you can type in A. Click the next one. Over here, B. Again, third one. Next one, C. Over here, third one, D. Over here, fourth one, E, and see if you can get that. Again, they're all inside there. Notice they will go across here as well. So let me pause right. Now select the horizontal stack view and copy it to the clipboard. Paste a copy of the stack view and repeat this step until the vertical stack view contains 5 horizontal stacks. Finally, you need to add one more button to the last one so that you have a 26 buttons in total. Okay. Again, here we go. Easiest way to do that, again, is in this window over here, this window over here. So we're going to duplicate this stack right here, this entire set. So twirl the thing down, twirl it up like that. Might be easier so it doesn't confuse you. You're going to copy that whole stack here and then paste it. Okay, so now we have new letters, and we can open that up if you want. And so instead of A, we're going to have what? What's after E? F. What's after F? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then H. And then I. And then J. Okay. And then I'm going to duplicate this again, right there where we have this right there. We're going to copy that again. We're going to paste that again right underneath it. And we left off with J, so what's after J? K? K? L? M? Don't forget a letter. N? What's after N? O? Okay, again, we're going to copy this whole stack right here. Copy, paste. What do we left for? O, P? O, P? P? Q? R? S? T? And one more time, copy this right here, copy, paste. We left off with T, U, V, W, X, Y, and then of course we're missing one letter here, so we got to add Z to this. So to add Z, I'm going to copy the Y and paste it right there. It should go right underneath it, and then put in a Z for that. And then you'll be done. I'll pause here. Let's continue reading when you finish that. Okay, so now we have all the horizontal stack views with all the 26 buttons. It should all look like that. Below the grid of buttons, add 2 labels from the object library. Use the attributes inspector to change the alignment of the text to centered. Then set the font size first label to 30 and the second to 20. Add the height constraint of 60 to the first label and the height constraint to 44 for the second label. Since every view besides the image view has a height constraint, the image will adjust its size according to other views that stay consistent. So I know there was a lot there, but let's just do it. Okay, again, easiest way to do it is to drag into this window over here. We're still in this vertical stack view. We're still inside this vertical stack view right here. So the key here is we're going to do labels now. So you want to go and make a label. And we're going to take that label and we're going to drag it into here in this vertical stack view, right underneath there. Okay, and then they want you to change the font size. So the first thing they want you to do is make the alignment center. So if you look after you drag the label here, again, it's in this vertical stack view right here, not inside the horizontal stack view, still inside the vertical one. It's right at the bottom here. You're going to say align to center right here. See the alignment right here? Center, just like you would align center in Microsoft Word. There's a center align there. Then they want you to set the font size right now. So if you look here, you see it says align center, then set the font size of the first label to 30. So again, we're going to make this one font size of system size right here, and you can just type the little arrows up and go to 30, system 30, center, system 30, the first label. Next, we're going to put another label in. We'll change the size of that in a minute. Let's not change the size yet. Next, we're going to put another label. Again, I'm going to drag right here underneath the first label right here. This time we're going to do center again for the text, but this time that it's only going to be, what, 22, I think? 22? 20. The second to 20. So again, this would be 20. So again, first one is 30, second one's 20. Center align both. Now we're going to set the constraint. Okay, so you need to do constraints here. So again, the height constraint is 60 to the first one and the height constraint to 44 for the second one. So again, I'm going to select the first one here. And what did it say? What was the size? 60. So I'm going to select the label, go to my constraint right here, and we're going to go to height, and we're going to put in 60. Tab. Hit add one constraint. And then the next one, and we're going to go constraint, and that height was going to be what? Add a height constraint to 60 for the first label and a height constraint to 44. Where was I? Height of 44. Okay, and I know they're red there. I've seen that before. Let's not stress about that right now. Image will adjust its size according to while the others stay the same. Yeah. So let's zoom in, see what it looks like. I guess it's okay. I know there's red in there. Maybe it should be outside of this. Maybe the label should be hold on. Maybe let me move this. Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to. Let me move these here and move them here. Yeah, that's better. Don't have them actually inside of this. I have them outside. They're outside because then I don't have red now. Do you see that? So not inside this vertical stack. You can move them around by just dragging them up and down. Actually, inside the horizontal stack, but outside this horizontal stack, outside of this one. Do you see that? Now you should have blue on the sides. That's where I made a mistake. Next, during the gameplay, the text of the label will be changed whenever a letter is guessed correctly or whenever a new round begins. The image will need to change whenever an incorrect letter is guessed, and the letter buttons need to be disabled whenever they're pressed and re-enabled before each round. In order to update these views, you'll need to create outlets so that you can reference these views in control. Open the assistant editor so that the view controller class definition appears to the right of the story. Next, select the image view on the left and control drag an area within the class definition and release the mouse button. In the pop-up window that appears, name the outlet Treat Image View. Notice there's a capital I and capital V in View. When you press the connect button, the code of the outlet will be created. Okay, so we need to make an outlet for the tree. So we're going to start the programming part. So we're going to have to move some windows around a little bit here. Okay, so I'm going to move this kind of over here. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger over here. I'm going to make this a little smaller over here. I'm going to move this a little bit here. Now, if you're having problems bringing up the programming next to the view controller, here's a little trick to bringing up the appropriate programming, because you can have multiple programmings, you can have different Swift files. We want to bring up the view controller for this one right here. To do that, again, I'm going to click on the editor right here, the pull down menu right there, and there is a way to bring up the, oh, hold on, not there, where is it? There is a way to bring it up. Where's it? Build, perform, debug, source, editor, navigate, open in assistant editor. No, I didn't want that. Okay, well let's not go there then. I didn't want that. Oh. Okay, hold on. I have to zoom out. Okay, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, there's the view controller right there. Okay, I guess the easiest way is to use the... There we go. Easiest way is to use this and use the assistant editor on... What is it? Horizontal? No. Assistant editor on right. Now I can't bring it up. Alright, my windows are all crazy now. I didn't want to... Alright, my windows are all nuts. There we go. Sorry, my windows all went kind of crazy on me. The easiest way, again, there we go. I'm going to move that there. So you want to have the Swift file over here. Again, I use the Olympic kind of symbol. So see if you can get the programming window here and there. And the first thing you're going to do is going to select the tree, and we're going to then drag it out so it appears, and you're going to call it tree image with a capital I and a capital V. Okay, so we're going to drag it in this area. We can drag it up here above the view did load. I believe right here is the best place. So again, I'm going to use the control key, drag up here, and you're going to make an outlet, and we're going to call it, what was it? Image. what was it called? Image, tree image, I'm sorry. Tree with a lower T-R-E-E, image, capital I-M-A-G-E, and then capital V-I-E-W. Tree image view. Tree image view. Tree image view. And hit connect. And let me make sure I put it in the right spot. Control drag to the area within the class definition and release the mouse. That is within the class definition right there. It doesn't need to be in a view did load. Everybody get that? No? You'll notice that you have a little bullet looking thing right here. Do you see it? And if you roll your mouse over it, notice how it turns a little plus, and you'll see that it's blue. Do you see how it turns blue when I roll my mouse over that? That tells me that that outlet is correct. See it right there? Okay. Okay, next, now we need to make an outlet for the labels. Repeat the process for the two labels. Name the top label correct word label, and the bottom label is score label. Notice the capital L here and the capital W here, and then capital L here. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing for the labels. So I'm going to kind of put a space here after this one, so I have some space in there. And I'm going to grab the label right here, the big first label, the bigger one. I'm going to control click into underneath here. And it's an outlet, and of course we just said we're going to call it correct word label. So we're going to call it C-O-R-R-E-C-T capital W-O-R-D label L-A-B-E-L, and hit connect. And then one more, the smaller label that's down there. And I'm going to put it right underneath the other one. And this one's going to be score label, S-C-O-R-E, score, no, S-C-O-R-E, capital L-A-B-E-L, score label, and we put it right underneath the other one there. So again, you have outlet for the correct letter as well as the score, and then the image. So get to that point because the hard part's coming right now. One is, it would be very tedious to create a separate outlet for each button. Instead, you can create one outlet that holds the collection of buttons. Begin by selecting the first button with the letter A as the title. Control drag to the class definition to create an outlet that then release the mouse button. In the pop-up that appears, change the connection type from outlet to outlet collection. Then set the name of the outlet collection to letter buttons. When you press connect, an outlet will be created that references a collection of buttons. Okay, now click and drag from the circle next to the outlet collection to another button. A blue rectangle will appear indicating the valid connection. Release the mouse button and then repeat the steps for each button in the scene. Whoosh! Okay, here we go. This is very hard, so pay attention. Okay, here we go. So we're going to make an outlet. We're going to start with the first letter. You can also drag from over here as well. If you're struggling to select things down here, you can actually select things here, right here. You can hold the control key and drag over here. I'm going to put it underneath my score label. I'm going to release my mouse. Before I change anything, the first thing I'm going to do is change the connection type from outlet to outlet collection. The reason why you do outlet collection is so that you can have more than one in here. And of course, we're going to have each letter in this collection here. And then we're going to call it letter buttons. So we're going to call it L-E-T-T-E-R, capital B-U-T-T-O-N-S, letter buttons. And it's going to be a UI button type, I believe. Yeah, UI button. So it should say UI button here. Again, outlet collection, letter buttons, UI button, and we're going to hit connect. Now we need to attach every letter to this button this button collection, letter buttons that we've made. And how you do that is you're going to actually click and drag the letter to the actual plus right here. See, right now when I roll my mouse over, remember it turns a little plus right there. You can see it. Hey, there's a connection there. There's a connection there. You can actually drag over here in the stack view. Might be easier, and it might be much better because you can actually see each letter right here. So again, we need to take each letter that is over here and connect it to this letter button here. How you do that is you're going to hold the control key down, and I'm going to drag B onto, oh no, that's not going to work. Oh no, that didn't work. Hold on. Let's not do that. Hold on. How do we do that? Hold on. Let me do it again. Oh, you're going to actually drag from here to there. Oh, that's why. Let's try it again. So we're going to drag from here. No, that didn't work. Let me try that again. This is okay here. Now click and drag from the circle next to the outlet collection. Now click and drag from the circle next to outlet collection to another button. A blue rectangle appears validating connection. Okay, let's try again. So the little plus that we have here, let's roll over. You see a little plus. Click and drag. Oh, there we go. Drag to B. Can we drag over here? Yeah, that might be better dragging over there. Do you see how I have it on B right there? Boom. Okay, and then the little plus. Oh, now when I roll over, you see it has both A and B in the plus. Let's drag to C. Let's drag to D. Let's drag to E. Again, the little plus that's right here. Drag to F. Drag to G. Drag to H. Drag to I. And drag to J. Don't do it. Make sure you don't do it twice to the same one. That causes problems as well. So do it in order. Drag to K. Drag to L. Drag to M. Drag to N. Drag to O. Drag to P. Drag to Q. Drag to R. Drag to S. Drag to T. Drag to U. Drag to V. Drag to W. Drag to X. Drag to Y. And then drag to Z. Woo! Okay, see if you can make that. So, we connected. Each of the buttons also needs to be tied to an action. So we have to do the whole same thing again that we just did, but this time to an action. Okay? So, let's see what they call it. Appear to change connection type to action. Set the name of the action to press button and change the type of argument to UI button. When you press the connect, the method will be created. Whenever the button appears tapped, it should be disabled. A player can select a letter more than once from the same round. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do the same thing we just did, but this time to an action. Here we go. Let's try it. So I'm going to do it right underneath this one. I'm going to put a little space there so I have a little extra space there. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to grab the A. Let me move my window around here. I'm going to grab the A. I'm going to control click underneath this one. This time instead of outlet, we're going to choose action. And then the type is going to be a UI button. Make sure that the type says UI button. And then what did they tell us to call it? Button tapped. So lowercase b-u-t-t-o-n and capital T-A-P-P-E-D, button tapped. So again, we do the same thing with the letter A. This time it's going to be an action. Make sure the type is UI button and then the name is button tapped. And hit a connect. And then I guess we're going to have to connect each and every letter to that, right? You're going to have to connect. If you just change the connection type to act. A player select more than once. So why change the argument type to any to UI button in the pop-up? Since there are 26 buttons connected to the same action, you'll need to use the sender to determine which button specifically triggered the method. If the sender has any type, you can't access the title property. So it's actually... So again, the same thing we just did with the outlet you have to do, and again probably the easiest way is to go over here to the stack view. So I'm going to put my cursor here and go to B, Here we go again. C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Woo, that was a lot of work. Okay. Build and run your app to verify that tap each button disables. Oh, wait, we didn't do that. Okay, we got to finish here. Why change the button since they're the button center? Control drag the rest of the buttons to the existing action. You'll know that the connection is valid because the blue rectangle appears to hover. Now, they don't tell you to do this, but you'll notice this says sender.isEnable equals false right here. So you'll notice we didn't put any programming in here. But if you do put that programming in there, do you see where it says sender.isEnabled equals false? It'll then, and so let's just try that. So again, inside the button option here, so inside this button option here where this action is here, if you hit return inside there and you type in sender, S-E-N-D-E-R dot isEnabled, isEnabled with a capital E, is E-N enabled, it should come up with the hint there, isEnabled equals false, what that does is it will then turn the button off, I believe. So sender.isEnabled equals false. I believe that's what they have right there. And so let's try that. I'm going to save my file. And let's see what it looks like in the preview here. So you see you got your label, you got this. And if I click, you'll notice it turns off each letter. That's what the send enable does. See that? It goes from blue to gray. And so that way you know that it's actually working right. Again, you can rotate this as well. So again, and if it goes crazy on you like that, just go back to the very first one right here and then go back to the main storyboard there. Again, in the action area, sender.isEnabled equals false will turn these gray when the person clicks on them. That way you're confirming it. So if you save, let's save right now and let me talk a little bit about the art, and then maybe you can start making your art, okay? Okay, did everybody get the sender.isEnabled false? Yes? Okay. Let's pause, let's stop